What is up, everybody? It is the Minifigure Guru, and today's video is going to be a custom set video on the Avengers, the final movie in the Phase 1 of the MCU. Big milestone for us here, and I'm really excited to show off these figures that I have for you today. So the Avengers came out in 2012. It starred Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner, and a couple other big names. A pretty star-studded cast on this one. It made $1.5 billion, the first MCU movie to cross the $1 billion mark. And, that wasn't too special after this one. We see that come up multiple times. Personally, my thoughts on the movie are it's pretty good. And it definitely succeeds really well at what it's trying to do, which is bring together all these different tones and do something groundbreaking, which is really just connecting all these different franchises into one big one. That being the Avengers. And it did that perfectly. I think that there's no better way that they could have done the first Avengers and really first movie of this kind. But in terms of movie, it does lack in some departments. For one, the characters aren't as fleshed out as they later become. Granted, it is early in the MCU, so you can't dog it too much, but it's still a fact that they're less developed. Also, in terms of visuals, it's very boring. All right, you see a lot of dark scenes, super dark scenes, not interesting lighting, just not too interesting. But the best parts are probably the pacing. It's very fast. All the characters are entertaining, even though they're not too deep. Also, the character interactions and team up moves, all of those are great. Overall, I think it succeeds in flying colors at what it's trying to do and what it's meant to do. But in terms of being a movie, it's not incredible. I'd probably give it an 85. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 92 and 91 for the audience score. So they don't necessarily... They rate it a bit higher than I would. But that doesn't mean it's a bad movie in any way. So let's start with the sets. We're going to start off with the first minifigure from the first set, which is going to be my Black Widow. Obviously, this figure has been made in Lego, and I'll do a comparison of mine and the Lego one somewhere in this time I'm talking about her. So in terms of hairpiece, I used the one that they used kind of for Age of Ultron, and I think they used it for Infinity War. I think that's it. But that hairpiece, the Scarlett Johansson face, she has a very dark blue torso, arms, and then dual molded legs there, with some black highlights throughout. Or I wouldn't even call them highlights, but some black throughout. So the gloves are black with that tan tips. She has that gray logo on her arm. She has those black things on her wrist. I don't know what those are for. She has them on most movies that she's in, but I don't know what they do. She has the iconic belt with that red Black Widow logo, some detailing to show the torso curve, and then dual molded legs, half dark blue, half black, and the dark blue part has some black straps on it. Overall, I think mine's a big improvement and much more accurate from the Legos, which granted came out in 2012, the first year of the superhero line. So they were still fixing some things up. So I have that hindsight, but very good minifigure I think I drew up here. Next up here we have Bruce Banner in his kind of tan outfit, tan suit with purple shirt. He has some buttons on his arms and then obviously the purple shirt. He uses that hairpiece that the Bruce Banner minifigure uses. I don't think that one works too well to represent Mark Ruffalo at the time that it's supposed to be representing, but that hairpiece works perfectly for this time period of Bruce Banner. He has, a bit of a tired face. I bet he doesn't sleep too well, so I drew that in there. And then he has some lighter tan shoes, but overall very simple minifigure. I just kind of wanted to switch up a costume for him. Next up here we have my upgraded Captain America. I have voiced my opinion on Lego Captain America, being that I wish they made more suits because I think he's one of the coolest minifigures in Lego form. And this right here is one that I love to see remade. They'd never remake it, but I'd love to see it anyway. Obviously Lego has made a variation of this, but I just did a more accurate version. He has that lighter blue on his chest with the star, of course, the red and white simple torso, or I think that stomach kind of area printing with that silver line. He has that belt, dual molded legs, half blue, half red. The red has some straps. He has knee pads, some silver lines on the arms. He has light blue, dark blue, and red gloves with some detailing, some white there, some stuff going on. And then he uses the helmet that Lego just made. I would like that helmet to be upgraded a bit. Maybe not because on the side it's a bit curved too much. It almost looks like his ears would be sticking like out, which they do. Well, they do in some movies. Point is, they could make the helmet a little bit more sound all the way around, you know what I mean? So that'd be nice, but I'm very happy with it, and I wouldn't change it much at all. Next up here, we have my Hulk. So this is kind of in between the no rips in the pants and rips in the pants. There aren't many rips in the pants, but there are a few. So in my Incredible Hulk showcase, there was a couple rips, and there was one with no rips. So this is like in between. He has that slight smirk one, Hulk's like Hulk smash, pretty iconic. He has like the floppy hairpiece for Hulk. Well, it's not hairpiece, that mold. And then just black pants on. He's a very simple Hulk, but as you can see in the comparison, Lego kind of did him dirty back in the day. So that is my Avengers Hulk. Bonus minifigure here. Usually I do 4 per set, but this time I have another one. We have Thor. So starting with the hairpiece, he notably uses the Sirius Black / Old Luke hairpiece. His face is also more closely resembles the newer Thor face. I just think it represents Thor better, and the beard isn't so like clean cut. It looks kind of weird when it's like just like clean. So it's a bit rougher on this one. In terms of torso, huge upgrade from the original. A lot more detail I packed in there, both in terms of accuracy and just straight up detail. You can see that part on the sides with all those little lines. You have that red continuing onwards. This is one of my favorite minifigures I drew just because of the amount of detail and how good I think it turned out. On the arms, he has a chainmail with those red kind of wristbands, and then that metal part that goes above the red. On the legs, he has some black shoes with some detailing that continues upwards, and then he has some silver detailing above those silver and black detailing. Overall, I'm very proud of this minifigure, and another huge upgrade, in my opinion, from the original Thor that we got for the Avengers. The set itself would be a Leviathan. It would be $45. It would probably come with some Chitauri on top of it. I mean, I didn't draw them because I think Legos are perfectly fine. And I already drew a bonus minifigure, so I wasn't going to draw more, but yeah, so it would probably include 1 or 2 or 3 of them, but the main thing would be getting the mothership or whatever it's called. I call it the mothership. It probably has a real name. Oh, it's the Leviathan. I'm so stupid. Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. Okay, so the Leviathan. It would come with that. Originally, I had this being much more expensive, but we'll take a look at the concept art at the end. I'm switching that up, but I realized that he could be much smaller when I found some of these models that people made in real life. I realized he didn't have to be incredibly big, but bigger than that one we got in the Hulk helicopter drop set. So that is the Leviathan set. Next up here, we have our first minifigure from set number 2, which is going to be Eric Selvig. So first off, this obviously represents Eric Selvig from the Avengers 1. So he uses the kind of hairpiece flop to the side a little bit in the sandish color, and then he has kind of a shocked expression. The other alternate expression would have the blue eyes, since he'd be being mind controlled. The torso is one of my favorites I drew. I just really like the straight lines. I really like how it turned out in the pattern. So, I mean, obviously it took from something, but I just like how it looks. So, yeah. The pants are in this light gray with the belt and shoes. Overall, very simple minifigure, but Eric Selvig is actually a pretty important character to the early MCU days, and I'm surprised we don't have a rendition of him. So that is my Eric Selvig. Next up here, we have my upgraded Hawkeye, another one that I think I majorly improved from the original. They did Hawkeye so dirty in the original, so I'm happy that I was able to redo him here. He has a slight smirk on. The other side would probably be angry with the blue eyes. In terms of torso detailing, he has that kind of light purple with some grays and blacks to show different shades throughout the torso, and that continues onto the legs where you have certain straps and boot type detailing. On the arms, one has some black bands and the other one has a black hand since he has the glove on. Overall, I'm super happy with my upgrade here, and man, we need this bad or something, because they really did our boy Hawkeye from the Avengers 1 dirty. So yeah, that's my Hawkeye. Next up here, we have my upgraded Loki. Another one, I actually think Lego did a pretty good job on this one, but there are obviously things, I could change considering Lego is still to this day not necessarily perfect. They can't be. I'm drawing. They actually have to mass produce these things. He has a word expression since, you'll see what set this is and then you'll understand. So he has this black base, and then on top of that, some gold detailing to show like the trench coat, and then some green and brown underneath. Just some simple detailing. Kind of hard to describe them, but that's my Avengers 1 Loki. Next up here, we have a kind of probably surprising one. The other one that I forgot about until I was drawing this up. He has the black hood piece on, and then some detailing on the head to show the hood continuing onward. Since we don't know what's kind of under there, I just drew that. There's no second face. He doesn't really have different expressions. So then he has some detailing in gold, some light gray, some black, some dark gray, some darker gray, just all these shades of gray. Overall, I'm super happy with the other. He's not an important character to the MCU, but definitely an interesting one and kind of a mystery character. Like, he's just with Thanos for one movie, and then he's gone. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, he does die in the Avengers. So who knows if Lego would make him, but I would really like to see him. He's just a really interesting character. So that's the other. Bonus figure number 2 is going to be Tony Stark in his Black Sabbath shirt. I was going to include maybe an Iron Man armor, but we've seen the one with it. We've seen the triangle armor in Lego, and we've seen the Mark 6 in Lego. Both were made for the Avengers line. I could improve them for sure, but I thought I'd rather go with a unique minifigure Lego hasn't made than improving a pretty good minifigure Lego has made. So I did Tony's Black Sabbath. Now I know we've had many Tonys in Phase 1, but this is the final Tony of Phase 1. Kind of bittersweet in a way, we've had all these Tony Starks, and you guys are probably like, stop doing Tony Starks. And I'm just like, I know, but aren't you sad now? I mean, we may not see any more Tony Starks, or we may. You don't know. I know, but you don't. But anyway, he has the Black Sabbath, obviously, and then on his arms, he has the dark gray. He has the black from the shirt, the dark gray from his undershirt, and then the tan, because his sleeves are a little rolled up. Gray pants, dark gray pants with black shoes. Simple minifigure, but iconic outfit. I mean, I don't know how it became so iconic, but it is. So that is my Tony Stark. So the set itself is one that I actually am so happy that I thought of, because it's such a good idea in my opinion. The Stark Tower. I put the newest Avengers Tower as like the kind of, that would be like the shape. But actually, the more that I think about it, it would more likely be smarter, I guess, to do the 2015 style, just since that kind of is the more MCU style, and this Avengers Tower, the new one, is more of a comic book style. So I think that doing it in the style of the original Avengers Tower, just different color scheme, a little bit different shape, and then Stark instead of the A. I just think it would be a really good idea. It's something that not many people are probably like, we need this, but when I thought about it, I'm like, you know what, that'd actually be a really good idea. So I priced it at $100, thinking it would be the size of the new Avengers Tower, but it could be more in the $75, $80 range if we're going with the style of the original Avengers Tower. And it could always come with some Shatari or whatever. It's the Avengers movie, so you can always throw in those as extras. But like I said, I thought Lego did a good job. But let's take a look at the concept art, and then we'll be done. Alright, so the concept art, as you can see, originally 4 minifigures per set. But when it came down to it, I couldn't not draw up Thor. I couldn't, the other was kind of one where I'm like, well, if I'm doing 5 in one set, I'll do 5 in the other. But I couldn't not do Thor, so then I needed to balance it, and I did the other as well. So with the original set, though, it was the same. Bruce Banner, the Hulk, Captain America, and Black Widow. I always wanted to do the Leviathan, and as you can see from the concept art here, it was $75 originally. I was thinking it would be much bigger, but when I found that really good model, I was like, oh, well, I don't really need to then. Moving over to the second set, always meant to have Tony Stark, Loki, Hawkeye, and Eric Selvig. In terms of accessories, I forgot, I didn't draw. Hawkeye would probably have a quiver and a bow. Loki would probably have a more accurate scepter and then a helmet with hair. And then Iron Man would come with this cool, like, Iron Man suit back attachment that you can, like, clip on to his back. And it would be, just like supposed to represent the Iron Man suit, attaching to him. And I forgot to mention, of course, Captain America would come with the shield. Black Widow would come with 2 guns, and yeah. And then originally for the second set, it was going to be just like a huge model of the landing area and then some interior to mess around with. But I decided against that since it just, the Stark Tower idea was much better. So I just went with that. Very simple. And that's the Avengers, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun drawing these ones up, and I'm pretty sure they're some of my best ones that I've drawn up in terms of pure drawing, looks. So I'm very happy with them. I'd love to see some of these, redone and put into this new Lego form. So thank you for watching. Next week we start our phase 2 with Iron Man 3. Hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.